Hello and welcome back to the another episode of the Hindu News Analysis. Well, the date is 2nd August 2025 and in this video we are going to discuss some important articles which are very much relevant for your preparation. But before we start our discussion, I would like to give you the brief introduction about the initiative which we had started here so that if you are new to our channel you will get more connected with us. For you guys to clear the UPSC exam or any civil service exam, you need to take care of two important things. One is the current affairs, and the second one, the static syllabus. And most of the students go through various coaching institutes to clear it. Some who do self studies, they would mostly, they would be confused which books to study or where from we can clear the current affairs. So in this regard, it is not economically viable for everyone. For those students who are not economically that good, or we can say for those students who don't have time to go to the coaching institutes, or for those students who don't have that much time to break down the syllabus and know how to study these subjects, we had brought this initiative here where we'll take care of everything what is required for you to clear the exam. And every day we in this regard we are uploading two videos, one in the morning session, which is this video where we'll take care of your current affairs. What we are going to do in this video, we'll take up the most important articles from the newspapers. We are going to break them down into the simplest language possible, and we'll try to extract as much as information as possible, and we will try to relate these articles with respect to your prelims preparation if there are points related to your prelims preparation, and with respect to your mains preparation if the article is relevant with respect to your mains exam. So in this way we are going to read these articles and show you how they are important for your preparation. And in the evening session we are going to upload another video where we will discuss this static syllabus of yours, where we had started with Indian polity and we had completed Indian polity. We had discussed everything what is required for you to clear any question if asked with respect to Indian polity, whether it would be related to prelims or mains. We had uploaded 30 lectures of Indian polity for which we had made a separate playlist on our YouTube channel, which is this channel. So if you want to get access to it, you can watch those videos. And also currently what we are doing, we are discussing the governance part, and already we had completed 7 lectures. Now only 5 lectures are left for the governance. Today would be the 8th lecture, and after that, and also here we had promised you that by the month of January 2026 we are going to complete your full syllabus, whatever is required for you to clear the exam, whether it would be related, whether the topics would be related to your prelims preparation or mains preparation, everything would be taken care of. But here is the exception, and that is we are not going to take care of your optional subjects. That is the only exception which we are not going to deal here. Rest everything would be cleared here. And one more thing, you can get access to these videos. It is very easy for you guys. There would be many YouTube channels, maybe, I don't know, maybe they would be given these classes which are totally free, or there would be some old videos with respect to your static syllabus. But one thing is very much important, you need to connect it with the exam. It should be continuously updated, and this program is specific to 2026 and may be helpful for 2027 too. And also one more thing which I wanted to actually say, that as you are watching these videos, or you are listening to my classes, but at the same time you need something to read from. For that you may need to consult different books. It is up to you, it is your discretion. But at the same time, what we are doing, we are also preparing the notes. We had already prepared the Indian polity notes, and trust me, these notes are so comprehensively written. Every topic is discussed in a detail, and there are questions with respect to every topic. If you want to get access to to our notes, if you want to read through our notes, you want to go through the questions which we had brought there with respect to prelims or mains, for that you just have to do one thing. Please do mail us, and once you will mail us, you would be told to pay 200 rupees. This is the only revenue which we can generate through this whole initiative. So if you want to get access to these notes, please do mail us and do write in the comment, do mail us and do pay 200 rupees per subject, then you will get access to these notes. This is about the initiative. And if you want to, again I would like to repeat, if you want to be the part of it, it is totally free. It is specific for 2026 and 2027. Please do hit the subscribe button, do share it with your friends, and also do write in the comments what else should we bring for you guys. Now without any delay, let us start our discussion by looking at the first article, which talks about the mangroves again. From last 1 week, I guess it is the third time we are discussing this topic. So this shows how important this topic can be for your exam. So with respect to this, now let's have a look. First we saw that how in our earlier classes with respect to this topic, we saw that how mangroves are the first line of defense against the natural disasters, especially with respect to the coastal ecosystem. How it acts as a buffer against the tsunamis, against the fast moving winds. The canopy density of the mangroves, the leaf density of mangroves, how important it is, how it helps in the carbon, carbon, how it acts as a carbon sink, and the way it is, its leaves are broader and denser leaves, how it helps in storing more carbon as compared to other trees, and also the how it has acted as a natural buffer against the pollution too. It forms a line, it forms a line between the marine ecosystem and the coastal ecosystem, and whatever comes from the rivers and rivers and lakes that gets deposited in this region, and in a way it is also harmful for this. And we also discussed its types of, how its roots are developed, how in the marshy lands they are, for example in the wetlands, they are mostly found in wetlands, how sometimes these wetlands may lack oxygen. We discussed that how these wetlands may lack oxygen. For that, these roots have developed, these roots come out of these marshy lands, these wetlands, and they directly breathe oxygen from the atmosphere. So this much we had already discussed. So let's try to recap. Let's try to find out what is new in this article, which can be very much important for us. First of all, what was new in this article? First, a few important points I would like to highlight, which you should write in your notes. What was mentioned in this article? First, the concept of blue carbon was given. What is this blue carbon? The capturing of, usually when this carbon dioxide is captured by the mangroves, it is called the blue carbon. With respect to here, it is referred as the blue carbon, the capturing of carbon. The density of, we know that the density of leaves of these mangrove trees, it is very huge, and it captures carbon to the highest levels as compared to other trees, and it is specific location to at the wetlands. So this is termed as the blue carbon, what it captures. So first thing it was mentioned, and how it acts as a natural buffer. We had natural buffer, we had also discussed that, and this is also mentioned in the article, how it acts as a natural buffer. How it acts as a first line of defense against the natural disasters, especially like tsunamis and the tsunamis and fast moving winds, how it acts as the first natural defense system. It acts as a first line of defense for the continental ecosystem. And also it keeps on providing the organic matter to the soil, keeps on providing organic matter to the soil, and also it provides to the aquaculture and helps the farmers in the nearby region. So these are few important points which are actually highlighted in this article, how it helps in the capturing of carbon, and that carbon is termed as the blue carbon. How it was repeated that they are the natural buffers, they are the first line of defense, and it contributes to the organic matter, and similarly aquaculture. This is one of the it is in a way helps in the economy of the people living nearby. Now in this article there are some threats also mentioned with respect to the mangroves. Now let's try to find out what were the threats which are mentioned with respect to mangroves in this article. Let's try to find out those threats. First, extension of agriculture. The article highlights the extension of agriculture, the shifting of these wetlands into the paddy cultivation, especially in the Bangladesh and Maldives. They in these two areas, Bangladesh and Myanmar, sorry, in these areas they had shifted it. They are shifting these wetlands, these mangrove lands into the paddy lands, because they think in a way that the paddy is right now, it is the important, it is the most important for the survival, and they are ignoring the environmental factor. They are ignoring the mangroves, how important they are for the environment and for the continental or the for the coastal ecosystem. So this is one of the threat, the increasing the extension of the agriculture. Then second, extension of in this extension of industries, you know infrastructure in this region, because the lack of availability of the land for the infrastructure. This also, it in a way pushes these people to extend their infrastructure in these regions, to cut down these trees and develop habitats for them, so that they will have something to live in. But unfortunately what they are doing, it is eventually going to impact, it is eventually going to have worse impact on them and the coastal ecosystem in together. And then third, huge deforestation in this area. For example, the example of logging, it is one of the issue. How these trees are cut and its wood is used in various industries. So this is also one of the issue with respect that this is also one of the threat with respect that. And the over increase of the aquaculture, over increase of the aquaculture. The fishermen, what they do, they will cut down these trees and let the water come into these areas, excessive water into these areas, and eventually what it will lead to, it will go beyond the capacity of the mangroves, and this in a way threatens the survival of the mangroves. So these are some threats and some benefits which are mentioned, some advantages of the mangroves which were mentioned in this article, which I wanted to highlight to you guys. So with respect to this, what can be the way forward? The way forward is definitely the better communication between the communities which are living there, adoption of the newer technologies, so that we can trace what are the developments happening in this region, and also the policies like the mangroves mitra, which government of India had brought in to encourage such policies. This can eventually help the development of mangroves and the survival of mangroves in the coastal ecosystem. It is approximately, the data says approximately 120 million people 120 million people depend on the mangroves across the world. So there are huge number of people who either directly or indirectly depend on the mangroves for their survival. So it is one of the most important environmental concern for every country, especially for the coastal countries like India, where we have to take care of such where we have to take care of such trees. And we know that what can be the coming disasters, and when there is some natural defense to it, we have to adopt other defense systems too. With respect that, we need to have the better tracking. Our satellite system should be very well versed, it should be AI powered, but at the same time it should be AI driven. At the same time, we should try to install those, we should encourage the natural defense system too, which is the mangroves, and the way it captures the carbon and how it helps in the cooling of atmosphere. That is also one of the great great activities what the mangroves do. So with this, I hope you had understood the article. Very simple. We are discussing this article since it is the third time we are discussing this now. So with this, I hope you had understood it now. Now let's move to the another article. Let's see what this article is about. Well, recently India and UK trade deal reached its climax, and it was signed, and everybody is celebrating it, and everybody is thinking that this should be the model trade deal which India should follow in upcoming trade deals with respect to different countries. So with respect to this, there were many articles written on it, but this article is very unique because it has highlighted that how India's digital sovereignty is under impact. How India in a way has ignored, while signing this trade deal, has ignored its digital sovereignty. So this article highlights few things which I would like to highlight here, then we'll move to the another article. The article first talks about the importance of the digital sovereignty. Right now we are living in the 21st century where everything is powered by, everything is driven by AI. So everything is driven by data, as it is said, data is the new oil. Data is new oil. So this is how important data is right now, and without data nothing can happen in the digital world. So with respect that, in a way, the trade deal with the UK, it has India has in a way shown some leniency with respect to the digital sovereignty. So this article has highlighted those things. The first of all, with respect to the source code dispute. For example, if we will take some service from the UK with respect to the digital data, with respect to the digital, with respect to this digital data, we will take some help from the UK, and at that time we cannot ask for the we cannot, if we are taking some digital service from the UK, at that time we cannot, we had signed the deal that we are not going to ask for the source code of that digital service. We are not going to ask you what is the source code for that digital service. And with respect to source code, it is something which the countries mostly don't share with others. Countries don't share it with others, but if it is for the specific purpose, maybe it is for the specific country, they are developing any service, then maybe they may share the source code, but usually the countries don't prefer to share this source code. Then the second point of worry is, the first point of worry is that we are not going to ask for the source code if UK is giving any digital service to us, which eventually, in a way, according to critics, that it will hinder our development in this region. Second, and we don't have this security assurance. What if they are taking our data, where they are using it, we don't know about that. Then the second, open government data. We will give them the open government data to the government. What they mean by it, they say that we are going to give them the government statistics. What are the government statistics of what is the population growth, what is the poverty, and all that, so that with respect that they can, if they will try to bring in any policy, they will try to bring in any program, they will develop it in that way. But this open government data, it is not very much clear. It has a very vague definition there. It is not very much clear what this open government data is. It may mean anything, but government is saying that it is about the government statistics, but there is no proper definition of that. So this is also one of the worry, which the author here is highlighting, that it should have not been like that. We should not be given, if we are giving this open government data, then it should have been well explained what this open government data is. Then the third is the weakening India's localization stand. So these are the three aspects which in a way dilutes this trade treaty which we did with UK with respect to the digital space. In the digital space, these are few important aspects which we in a way had ignored, or we in a way had missed. So this is what this article also highlights. And in this regard, what is the way forward for that? Even though we are adopting, we are in a race with the digital technology, with the digital sovereignty, or what digital space, whatever technology happens there, we try to compete. But at the same time, there is something we lack, that is we lack the proactiveness. We should not try to react to the how world is what world is bringing, and we are reacting to that. It should not be our approach, but we should be very much proactive. We should have a national digital policy. In this regard, we should move forward how we have to bring in, what things we need to bring in, and what things we need to avoid. For that, there should be a dedicated clear national digital policy. This is what way forward can become for this article. With this, let's move to the article third, which is about the deep ties. Well, why it is in news? Because post Operation Sindoor, we had seen that how there is the diplomatic dent to our foreign policy. It is not something which we cannot talk about. It is very much evident now. The war which we won, the destruction which we did to the militant sites in Pakistan, but still, diplomatically we are at the losing end if we look at the present picture. And for that, there are many reasons. It is also the nature of Pakistani state, how they surrender to every foreign how they surrendered to every world power. They had surrendered their sovereignty to the China. They had surrendered their sovereignty to USA. They are trying to surrender their sovereignty to USSR, now Russia too. So with respect that, if we look at the India's foreign policy, it is not something that we will let anybody to dictate what we would want. So with respect that, that is the reason why right now we are seeing that there is this trend that we are losing. We are losing at the diplomatic level. We are not being supported by the big nations like China and USA, and even Russia did not supported us. So with respect to this, what is the way forward now? We cannot, this is against our approach. We will let them to come in and frame our foreign policy. And also with respect to the trade deal, most people are criticizing PM Narendra Modi for what we were not able to successfully do the trade deal, or we had been imposed 25% tariff. But if we look at what Narendra Modi did, he did not accept the demands of US. He in a way protected the farmers, the agriculturalists of our own nation. Even though our exports may get hurt, but still at the same time there are chances that we may talk about it. But the way the resistance was shown by the Narendra Modi government, it is something to be appreciated. Now with respect to this, as the time is moving on, and the India has to realize it, how important its neighbors are. We started with the neighborhood first policy. Neighborhood first policy, but in a way we got lost into it. We got lost into it, and our focus was much on the top powers of the nation. In this race we got lost. We don't had great with India, with Pakistan. We never had the great relation. With China we had the issues. With Sri Lanka we have the issues. With Nepal we have the issues. With Maldives last year we have the issues because of the Mr. Muizu, the India Out campaign which he launched. Because of that he won the election. So with respect to that whole this scenario, our neighborhood, nobody is right now happy with us. Even the Bangladesh, they are not happy with us. So it is prime time for India to realize the importance of our neighborhood. And in this regard we are on the right track, because right now Narendra Modi is being invited by the Mr. Moizu for their Independence Day. So he would be there, and it is a right, it is a relationship in a right direction. It is, we are moving in a right direction. Similarly, KP Oli, the Prime Minister of Nepal, he is being invited to India. So in a way we are trying to negotiate now what from last 1 to 2 3 to 4 years, what concerns are there with our neighboring countries. Even though in our budget we provide funds to these neighboring countries. For example, if we look with respect to Maldives, we had provided them into the millions. We had provided them the 565 million line of credit. 565 million line of credit were provided to Maldives, and 40% of the debt reduction in the previous loan which they had taken from India. We had reduced the 40% of debt. So in this regard we are trying to negotiate the issues now. We are trying to cool down the tensions, and that is eventually better for India, because we need our neighbors to be our friends. We need them to stand for us at any time, whenever we are in some issues, whenever there are such issues like Operation Sindoor, or we can say the Pahalgam attack. So in this regard, let's see what kind of question, as the topic is majorly focusing on the Maldives. So let's see what type of question can be asked. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the geographical location of Maldives. It is an archipelagic country located in the Indian Ocean. That is true. The 8-degree channel separates the Maldives from the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Totally incorrect. It separates it from the Minokai Islands. So this is incorrect. Third, a significant portion of its islands lies south of the equator. No, they lie north of the equator. So this is also incorrect. So with respect to this question, what is the correct statement? The correct statement is option A only. With this, let's move to the another article. Let's see what we had brought here. Well, it is the nationalistic agenda fueled the border fight between the Thailand and the Cambodia. So this issue, right now there was the conflict between the national, few days back there was the conflict between the Thailand and the Cambodia, when the Thailand used their JF-16s and they attacked the Cambodia region, and they had captured money soldiers of the Cambodia, and they are not really, according to Cambodia, they are not releasing them, because it was then the China came in, they did the ceasefire there, but the Thailand has not yet released. So what is the reason for this? Why there are conflicts between the Thailand and Cambodia? So to understand that, let's go a little bit back into the history. Let's try to find out, and this is what the article is trying to highlight here. Let's try to find out what is the reason for that. It is this ceasefire happened because of the China. Basically, there is something called the Priya Vihar temple. There is something called the Priya Vihar temple, which was built by the Khmer Empire. Who built Khmer Empire on the which was built by the Khmer Empire in this region between the Cambodia and Thailand. And there was then after the Khmer Empire, then the Siamese Empire came in. Siamese Empire came in. Then then this Siamese Empire in the Thailand, they were very strong. And they started to come. They started to take areas of whom? They started to take areas of Cambodia. When they started to take areas of the Cambodia, what happened? The Cambodian king at that time, King Norodom of Cambodia, he sought protection from France. He sought protection from French. They came in, and eventually, the Cambodia was colonized by French. And in 1904, 1907, that many treaties were signed, the treaties of contention, and and then finally there was dispute over the boundaries. And for the Cambodia, this Preha Vihar temple, it is their part, and for Thailand, this Preha Vihar temple is their part. And eventually, cutting this story short, let's cut it short. Then in 1962, the International Court of Justice, what they did, the International Court of Justice gave this Preha Vihar temple to Cambodia. And for the Thailand, they believe that it is only the temple, not the outskirts of the temple. The outskirts of the temple belong to the Cambodia. Not even though the temple, even though the Preha Vihar temple, it was given to whom? It was given to Cambodia by International Court of Justice. And according to Thailand, the temple belongs to Cambodia, but the outskirts of this temple belongs to Thailand. So over this, there had been conflicts in 2011, and there has been the political, tensions between the Cambodian kings, Hun Sen and his son Hun Menat, and the Thailand politicians like Thaksin and Shinawatra. There had been Thaksin Shinawatra and his daughter. They had the conflicts, they had the issues with respect to that, and eventually this war came in. So the major reason for this war, cutting it short, is the Peravihar temple. So how it can be asked in the exam? A direct question can be asked with respect to Peravihar temple. A location based question can be asked, or a direct question in the mains can be asked why there is the conflict in the Thailand and Cambodia, and how it can impact the India. So such questions can be asked in the exam. So with respect to this, let us see what question we had brought here. Here the question says, consider the following statements about the temple of Prehavihar. First, it is an ancient Hindu temple, 100% dedicated to Lord Shiva, located in Cambodia. Correct. It is renowned for its unique architecture style, characterized by a long north-south axis. That's also true. The International Court of Justice has ruled in favor of Cambodia regarding disunity over the temple. That is also true. So with respect to this question, all the three statements are correct. Now, coming to the another article, well, here you can see the volcano is bursting, and the fire is moving out, and there are many lightning events are happening there. So let's see what this is. It is about the Mount Lowo Tobi Lucky. Let's see what is it all about. So here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the Mount Lowo Tobi Lucky, which was recently in the news. First, it is a stratovolcano located on Flores Islands in Indonesia. That is true. It is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. That is also true. It is a twin volcano with its counterpart being Mount Lowo Tobi Perimpom. That is also true. So with respect to this question, all the three statements are correct. and from the code given below, the correct code would be option D. Now let's move to the last article of today's discussion. Well, it is about the ISRO is gearing up for next US collaboration with the Blue Bird communication satellite. You know, after NISAR, the successful launch of the NISAR satellite, we are moving forward for the Blue Bird collaboration. ISRO is gearing up for the next US collaboration with the Blue Bird, which is the private company there. So we are going for this, and under this collaboration, what are the what are the vehicles to be used. We will see that. We will try to find out the communication satellite which would be used is the GSLV Mach 3, or which is also called a LVM 3, and the satellite itself would be the 76.5 tons. So this much is right now important for you. Whatever developments would lead in this collaboration, we will come to know through the newspapers, and then we will definitely deliver it to you guys. Now with this, we had completed our today's discussion. I hope you would have liked the video. I hope you would share it with your friends, and I definitely hope you would subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.